Hello fellow watchers, it's Graham again. I have some new ocarinas and death whistles fresh out of the kiln for glazing and lusters. Some of them sound pretty good this time. So, first I'm going to go through the new pendant line I've made, which look like so. Kind of seed podish. Don't really know how to describe it. A lot of people say they look like piranhas this way. So, rather interesting shape. Some interesting sound characteristics. And this one will be gifted to my sculpture professor that I've been taking classes with since about sophomore year. So here's what this one sounds like. So you can see it kind of dies out when the thumb holes are opened. So it basically can be played as an English 6-hole, but instead of doing half holes, I've made it sub-holes, so you don't have to guess the size of it. And you want to have these tiny little first holes up in the front, like the Songbird Mini Dragon Tooth, which I ordered recently. So you can see size hole comparison, much more easy to get your fingers on. They both play in about the same pitch of G or G sharp, so they'll accompany most standard ocarina as well. Then this one came out in D. Last one was the Indigo Float glaze, which my professor slow fired, so the colors came out a bit better. This is the Frosted Turquoise. As you can see, me and my clumsy self dropped it on accident, so I had to use plumber's putty to repair the little end right there. And there's a little crack from the firing in the front, but this one sounds like so. It's a little airy, mainly because of the large voicing ramp. I'm still getting used to building these ones and cutting the voicing on them, but give it a few more months or weeks and I might have some pretty decent pendants out. It'll be much cheaper than the transverse ocarinas. And then I have a second line that I'm coming out with, and most of these ocarinas that you'll be seeing here are for the Japan Earthquake Relief auction that we might be holding at CNU, or I'll be selling them on Etsy depending on the timeline. But first one for the Japan auction is this one, traditional samurai motif, done in gold luster. It's a fire brick red, or deep fire brick Amico glaze on porcelain. So these ones are a little harder to stilt because they're smaller. So it has that line right there. I'm going to Dremel that off so it'll look a little cleaner. This one's an 8-hole Peruvian style, and it sounds like so. So it's a little airier sounding. I think it's because it's so flat. So the next ones, I'll work on building up the dimension for them. But this is an excellent looking display piece in case you're wanting to buy this one. All proceeds will be going to the Red Cross to help the earthquake relief in Japan. So the next in the line of the Japan auction ones is what was a phenomenally playing soprano F sharp. I thought these were altos, but it turns out they're actually in the soprano range because of the pitch they are. So, me being a klutz as usual, dropped this one on accident and it shattered, which is really tragic because it was signed by the internet comedian Glozell. You can kind of see the signature right there. It's done in Sharpie. I'm going to go over it in gold paint. I might destroy this one and transfer the signature to another similar looking one, which looks like so, which plays in F instead of F sharp. So you can see body is a bit deeper on this one. This one's a little flatter. But they both sound pretty good. So the F sharp one sounds like so. So it's a pretty decent sound quality. I was rather proud of this one until it broke. So my sole broke a little bit on the inside along with this one, but luckily I recreated it instead of porcelain in stoneware, so this one's it feels a little heavier, although it should be lighter, but along the back you can see it's an F. I didn't use the gold luster on my signature because it was thinly carved in the way the glaze builds up. You can still see it anyways, but this one sounds like so. So, as you can see, this one sounds, personally I think, even better than the other one. I really like the way it looks. The Tomoku glaze looks fabulous on these things, with kind of an earthy, brownish, mottled look. So, those will also be going towards Japan. Now I'll be moving back to the smaller sopranos, which actually came out in G, which usually the larger ones do, because I deepened the bodies a little bit on these ones so they're not as flat, more resonant sound. This one plays okay. It's not the best one that I've made, but it uses a marbled stoneware body with a deep fire brick glaze, so there's some slight variations you can see through the transparent nature of the glaze, and it sounds like so. It's a little touchier, but again, it's going for a good cause. I forgot what the kanji means. I think it's perseverance, I believe. I don't know. And the next one is going to be part of an elemental series. I used the ancient jasper glaze on brown stoneware, so it looks almost blackish purple, kind of like a very dark stone. Plays in G as well. And I professor fired these, so that's why the stilting marks are a little different on them. But this one, not as good sounding, doesn't go all the way up, but still going for a good cause. So, here we go. So as you can see, it dies out about after the octave. So when you open the thumb holes, don't even bother. It's the brown stoneware is a little trickier to work with, I've noticed, so it'll take me a while to get those to being as consistent as the white stoneware and porcelain ones. But anyways, on to the next one. So next one we have here is one that I thought the kanji meant hope, but it ends up meaning moon, which kind of goes along with the umber float color. It looks very moonish. It's an F. It has the marbled stoneware that I made mixing the white and brown stoneware, which can be a very tricky process cutting the voicing, but this one sounds decent up until not even the octave, so here we go. As you can see, it doesn't even play the octave, but oh well, it's a experimental one. The voicing chipped a bit, something funky went on in the firing as usual with these things. They don't necessarily shrink at an even rate, so it's kind of a guessing game to see if a good one will come out, but luckily one did. So here we have the one with the kanji for Japan, with a clear glaze and the marbled stoneware, high marbling effect. It plays in G, and the tip cracked off in the firing, so just use plumber's putty to repair that. Barely noticeable, but here we go. So, as you can see, it's a bit softer, and it actually uses decreasing breath pressure to get to the higher notes, which some of you may like, but there we go, it's going for a good cause as well. The next ones we have